You know, there's a lie that society has been feeding us for decades, a lie that says talent is everything, from school to sports to careers. The narrative is always the same. The naturally gifted get ahead, the talented shine, and if you're not born with it, you're left behind. But I'm here to tell you something that will shake that foundation. Talent, on its own, doesn't guarantee anything. In fact, it's fleeting. It's the one who shows up day after day, the one who refuses to quit, the one who keeps grinding even when no one is watching. That person wins. Consistency beats talent. Every single time. Think about it. Talent is like a spark. Bright, impressive, exciting. But sparks burn fast. They flare up, make noise, and then vanish. Consistency, on the other hand, is like firewood stacked over time. Day after day, you feed it, you nurture it, you keep it alive. Eventually, that fire becomes unbreakable, a heat that can't be ignored. It doesn't matter if someone else was born with more raw ability. If they don't show up, if they don't push forward, if they don't put in the work, their talent withers. Look at the greatest athletes, the highest achievers, the people the world calls legends. Sure, some were naturally talented, but what separated the good from the extraordinary wasn't their ability. It was their consistency. Michael Jordan didn't become the GOAT because he was naturally tall or had a killer jump shot. He became the GOAT because he practiced when no one was watching. He pushed through pain. He didn't settle for what came easy. Tiger Woods didn't reach the top of the golf world because he was born with perfect swing mechanics. He got there because of relentless, consistent practice, thousands of hours repeated over and over, day in and day out. Talent opens the door, yes, but consistency walks you through it. Talent gives you a chance. Consistency makes sure you don't waste it. And here's the thing about consistency. It's something anyone can cultivate. You don't have to be born a genius. You don't have to be born a superstar. What you need is discipline. What you need is the courage to show up when the world is asleep, when your friends are partying, when it would be easier to quit. That's where champions are made, not in flashes of brilliance, but in the silent hours when no one is applauding. Let me break it down for you. Talent alone is passive. It sits there, waiting for opportunity. But consistency is active. It's movement. It's progress. It's the daily choices you make when no one else is looking. It's the decision to wake up early, to practice more, to push through discomfort, to stay committed when the world doubts you. Talent without consistency is wasted potential. Consistency without talent? That's unstoppable. I want you to picture two people. Person A is incredibly talented. They have natural ability. Maybe they're faster, smarter, or stronger than most people around them, but they don't show up consistently. They skip practice. They procrastinate. They rely on their gift to carry them. Person B might not have that natural talent. Maybe they're slower. Maybe they have to work harder to understand things. Maybe success doesn't come as easy. But person B shows up every single day. They put in the work, even when it's painful, even when it's inconvenient, even when no one notices. Who do you think comes out on top in the long run? The answer is always person B. Consistency compounds. It builds momentum. It turns effort into results over time. Consistency creates habits, and habits are the invisible architecture of success. You could be the most talented person in the world, but if your habits aren't aligned with your goals, talent will fail you. On the other hand, even average ability combined with unshakable habits will lead to extraordinary results. You can't fake consistency. You can't cheat it. It's earned, one day at a time, one step at a time, one choice at a time. I know it's tempting to look at someone else's talent and feel discouraged. You see someone with natural skill, someone who seems to have it all, and you think, I'll never be like that. But here's the truth. Talent is a gift, yes, but it's nothing without action. You can't outwait or outpractice a person who refuses to quit. You can't outlast consistency. And when you start embracing consistency, something incredible happens. You start winning over yourself. You build confidence. You develop resilience. You create unstoppable momentum. The key is to commit to the process, not the outcome. Talent is about results. Consistency is about effort. Focus on showing up. Focus on repeating the right actions. Focus on getting a little better every single day. Over time, those small efforts add up to something massive. That's why the person who may not have a natural edge can eventually outperform the one who had it all along but didn't stick to it. And here's the harsh reality. Most people fail not because they lack talent, but because they lack consistency. They start, they quit, they restart, they get distracted. The world is full of talented individuals who never achieve their potential because they didn't have the discipline to keep going. Meanwhile, the average person who commits to consistent effort surpasses them. This is a level playing field where determination triumphs over giftedness. I want you to remember this. Your limits are not defined by talent. They are defined by your willingness to show up again and again when it's hard, when it's inconvenient, when no one else is watching. Every time you choose consistency over convenience, every time you refuse to quit, every time you put in work while others rest, you're stacking bricks in the foundation of your success. And eventually, those bricks turn into walls. Walls that block out doubt. Walls that protect your dreams. Walls that carry you higher than talent ever could on its own. So ask yourself, are you willing to put in the work? Are you willing to commit to the process, no matter how slow the progress seems? Are you willing to embrace the grind, embrace the repetition, embrace the discomfort, knowing that consistency compounds into mastery? Talent is nice. Talent is flashy. But consistency is eternal. Consistency beats talent because it's reliable. It doesn't take breaks. It doesn't quit when life gets hard. And it doesn't care who was born with more ability. Remember, every successful person you admire didn't get there by talent alone. They got there by showing up, by committing to the process, by refusing to give up when the spark of talent alone would have burned out. And the beauty of this? You can do it too. You don't need to be the most talented. You just need to be consistent. You just need to make the choice every single day to push forward, to do the work, to keep going when others stop. That's how ordinary people become extraordinary. That's how dreams become reality. That's how consistency beats talent. So, starting today, decide that you're going to be relentless. Decide that you're going to show up no matter what. Decide that your effort will not be dictated by talent, but by your commitment to consistency. And watch how your life transforms. Because the person who refuses to quit will always outrun the person who relies only on natural ability. By now, you should start seeing the truth. Talent will only get you so far. It may open doors, but it won't push you through them. That's where consistency steps in. It's the engine that keeps you moving when talent alone would stall. And here's the thing about consistency. It's not glamorous. It's not flashy. There are no awards for showing up when no one is watching. No Instagram likes for doing work quietly. No applause for grinding while everyone else rests. But it's this quiet, relentless effort that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. Think about it like this. A river doesn't cut through rock because of its speed. It doesn't smash through in one moment of brilliance. It's consistent, drop by drop, day after day, over years and years. The river carves valleys, shapes landscapes, creates something permanent. That's exactly what consistency does in your life. Every small effort, repeated, compounds. Every extra mile you run, every hour you spend learning, every time you push yourself beyond your comfort zone, it all adds up. Talent may give you a head start, but it's consistent action that finishes the race. Look around at people who you call successful. You'll notice a pattern. They didn't rely on their talent alone. They relied on a schedule, a system, a commitment to showing up and doing the work no matter how they felt. They committed to the process, not the outcome. And that's the secret. The outcome is unreliable. You can't always control results. Talent doesn't guarantee them. But if you control your effort, your consistency, your work ethic, you gain something far more valuable. Mastery over yourself. Mastery over your actions, your habits, your mindset. And that is unstoppable. Here's where most people fail. They see someone talented achieving quick success, and they compare themselves, thinking they can't measure up. They look at shortcuts, looking for instant results, looking for the moment when everything clicks. But life doesn't work like that. Life rewards persistence. Life rewards those who show up every day, who are willing to grind when it hurts, who embrace repetition and discipline, Consistency compounds in silence, and then one day, it explodes into results. And when it does, it doesn't matter if you were talented or not. What matters is that you were consistent. Consistency is also a mindset. It's not just about doing something every day. It's about believing in the process, even when you can't see immediate results. You can be consistent and still feel like you're getting nowhere. That's part of it. Progress often feels invisible, especially at the start. But the difference between the person who eventually wins and the person who gives up isn't skill. It's faith in their process. It's the courage to trust that your effort matters, even when the world seems indifferent. And that's a mindset anyone can build. Let's get practical for a moment. Consistency doesn't mean doing everything perfectly. It doesn't mean showing up only when you feel motivated. It means showing up, period. Even on days when you feel weak. Even when the results seem invisible. Even when the world doubts you. It's the small actions repeated over time that build momentum. And momentum is unstoppable. One small victory leads to another and another. And before you know it, your life looks completely different than it did when you started. That's the power of consistent effort. And don't forget, consistency beats talent because it builds resilience. Talent alone can create fragile confidence. You rely on your ability, and when challenges come, you crumble. Consistency builds toughness. It builds discipline. It trains you to push past pain, frustration, and failure. Every day you commit, every time you persevere, you reinforce the muscle of persistence. You develop a mental edge that talent alone can never provide. That edge is what carries you through setbacks, rejections, and obstacles. Talent can't prepare you for that. Only consistent action can. I want you to take a moment and reflect on your own life. Where have you relied on talent? Where have you waited for things to come easy for you? Now think about where you could create massive results if you simply committed to showing up every single day without excuses. You don't need to be the smartest, the fastest, or the naturally gifted. You only need to be the one who refuses to quit, the one who keeps moving forward when everyone else stops. That's the real power. That's the truth no one tells you. The person who refuses to quit wins every time. Consistency is a long game. It's boring at first. It's uncomfortable. But those who stick to it, those who build their lives on repeated effort, achieve results that talent alone could never deliver. The world will notice eventually. And when it does, it won't matter that others started ahead. It won't matter that someone else was naturally gifted. Because you, the consistent one, will have built something permanent, something unshakable. So make a decision today. Don't chase talent. Don't rely on luck. Don't wait for motivation to strike. Build consistency. Build habits. Show up. Repeat. Trust the process. One day, all that effort will pay off. One day, your consistency will carry you past the talented, the gifted, and the lucky. One day, the world will see what talent alone could never achieve. And on that day, you will know this truth. Consistency beats talent. By now, you're starting to realize something crucial. Consistency isn't just about effort. It's about transformation. Talent may give someone a head start, but consistency builds character. It shapes who you are when no one is watching, when no one applauds, when the world doesn't give you credit. That's where the real winners are forged, not in the spotlight, not in moments of glory, but in the quiet, relentless pursuit of better every single day. Think about it. Most people quit too soon. They start a project, a habit, or a dream, and when it doesn't produce instant results, they give up. They look at the talented person who seems to achieve success effortlessly and feel defeated. But that's the trap. Talent without consistency fades. It's the person who shows up day after day, week after week, year after year, who ultimately surpasses everyone else. Consistency compounds quietly, invisibly, but eventually it creates unstoppable momentum. Consistency also teaches patience. In a world addicted to instant gratification, the ability to stay the course is rare. The world rewards speed, shortcuts, overnight success stories, but those are exceptions, not the rule. Real success, lasting success, comes from the ones willing to put in the work, patiently, persistently, even when the results are invisible. It's not about flashes of brilliance. It's about the grind, repeated, refined, and perfected. And here's the secret. The longer you stick with it, the easier it becomes. What once felt like a struggle becomes habit. What once required effort becomes automatic. And then one day, you look back and realize you've accomplished far more than talent ever could have taken you. Consider the lessons of history. The great innovators, the leaders, the champions, they didn't rely solely on their natural gifts. Thomas Edison didn't invent the light bulb on his first try. He failed thousands of times. But he was consistent. He refused to quit. He repeated, tested, and adjusted. That consistency created brilliance. Serena Williams didn't dominate tennis because she was born with perfect athletic ability. She dominated because she trained relentlessly, consistently, year after year, even when it was painful, even when she faced setbacks. These aren't flukes. They are proof that talent alone isn't enough. Consistency is what separates the legendary from the average. Consistency beats talent because it creates resilience. Talent is fragile. It depends on conditions, mood, and circumstance. Consistency is durable. It survives failures, setbacks, criticism, and doubt. It doesn't rely on feeling motivated. It doesn't quit when things get hard. Every day you practice, every day you push forward, you're building more than skill. You're building a mindset, a mental toughness that talent alone can't give you. And that mindset, that's what carries you through challenges when raw ability fails. Here's something to think about. You don't need to be the most gifted person in the room. You just need to be the one who refuses to quit. You just need to show up even when it's uncomfortable. You just need to keep going when others stop. Over time, that dedication will compound into results that look almost impossible to the people relying on talent alone. You'll outlast, outperform, and outgrow them. That's the power of consistency. It doesn't care about natural ability. It only cares about commitment. And here's the most important point. Consistency creates freedom. The more consistent you are, the more control you have over your life. Talent might give someone an advantage, but if it's wasted, it's meaningless. Consistency, however, is a choice you make every day. It's yours to control. You can choose to show up, to put in the work, to commit to the process. You can't always choose who is born talented, but you can always choose to be relentless. And that choice, that's what changes everything. So remember this. The person who relies solely on talent is at the mercy of circumstance. The person who commits to consistency creates their own destiny. Talent can impress people. Consistency inspires them. Talent may open doors. Consistency breaks them down and walks through them. And when the world finally takes notice, it won't be because of the sparks of talent. It will be because of the steady, unrelenting fire consistency that never burned out. You have a choice right now. You can rely on talent alone, hoping it will carry you, or you can commit to showing up every single day, trusting the process, and embracing consistency as your secret weapon. The results won't come overnight, but they will come, and when they do, they will be far greater than talent alone could have ever delivered. That is the power. That is the truth. That is why consistency beats talent. Now it all comes down to one simple truth. Consistency isn't optional if you want real success. Talent can start a race, but it cannot finish it. Only consistency can. Only those who refuse to quit, who commit to showing up no matter what, who push forward even when the world doubts them. These are the ones who rise above, who achieve greatness, who leave a mark that lasts. Think about your own life for a moment. How many times have you held back because you thought someone else was better, faster, smarter? How many times have you doubted yourself, comparing your beginning to someone else's middle? That stops today, because talent isn't the deciding factor. Effort, discipline, and consistency are. The person who keeps going, day after day, will always outlast the one who relies solely on natural ability. Always. Consistency teaches you something talent never can: resilience, patience, and self-mastery. Every time you wake up early, every time you practice when it's hard, every time you push past excuses, you're building more than skills. You're building character. You're forging a mindset that no setback can break, no failure can shake, and no critic can stop. That mindset doesn't come from talent. It comes from showing up over and over when no one else will. And here's the beauty of it. The results of consistent effort compound. Every small action, repeated daily, adds up. Every step forward may feel insignificant now, but in time, it becomes unstoppable. What once seemed impossible becomes inevitable. You start to achieve things that talent alone could never have carried you through. You become the person you always imagined, stronger, tougher, disciplined, unshakable. That is the reward of consistency. That is the power of relentless effort. So ask yourself right now, are you going to rely on talent, hoping it carries you through? Or are you going to commit to consistency, trusting that your daily effort, no matter how small, will create results beyond imagination? The choice is yours. Talent fades, motivation wavers, but consistency endures. It builds empires. It creates legends. It turns ordinary people into unstoppable forces. Remember this. The world doesn't celebrate the spark that flares once and dies. The world honors the fire that keeps burning. That fire is consistency. That fire is effort repeated without fail. That fire is you showing up again and again, refuse to quit, and proving that effort, perseverance, and discipline always beat raw talent. So make the choice today. Commit to showing up. Commit to the process. Commit to your goals, your dreams, and your vision, no matter how hard it gets. Talent may have opened the door, but consistency will carry you through it. And one day, when you look back, you'll see that it wasn't talent that made the difference. It was you, relentless, disciplined, and consistent, who became unstoppable. Because in the end, there is no contest. Consistency beats talent. Always.